What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Lips, and this is week 4 of Stock Up, Stock Down, where we take one NHL team from the East, one NHL team from the West, and we see whose stock is going up and whose stock's going down. There's a lot to cover. Let's get right into it. So, starting with probably the worst team in the league right now, the team that has the stock going down the most, the St. Louis Blues. The St. Louis Blues have been really struggling. They have lost 7 in a row. Their defense and their goaltending just is not good right now. They're scoring goals, maybe not at the rate it takes to win, but throughout the 7-game winning streak, they haven't been shut out. In fact, they haven't even scored one goal. So they've scored 2 or more in each of these games. There's been some winnable games there. Defense and goaltending just isn't it. Now, St. Louis is notoriously a team that gets off to slow starts. We saw it in 2019 when they won the Stanley Cup. We also saw it last year where they got off to a very slow start, hired Jim Montgomery, and turned it around and was 3 seconds away from going to the second round. But this team, they look a little different. They don't look as good. They don't look sharp. The defense isn't there. So we'll see if they can turn it around, but they might actually end up being sellers at the deadline. As for stock down in the East, we're going with the Washington Capitals. So the Washington Capitals are the opposite of the St. Louis Blues. They have lost 4 in a row, and they can score. They've scored 1 goal or fewer in 3 out of their 4 losses. They just lost to Columbus, and honestly, this team, I felt they overachieved last year. I felt that a lot of those young players and a lot of players on Washington had career years. And last year, of course, you had Ovechkin breaking Gretzky's record. But this year, I just felt like so many guys had such a good season last year, a career season, that Washington was kind of due for a letdown. They're not horrible right now. They're 6-5-1, but they're not necessarily great either. So we'll see if they can turn it around. They have the talent too. I wouldn't be worried too much about them, but 4 in a row, they're stock down in the East. As for stock up in the East, ironically, it's the Columbus Blue Jackets, who just played Washington. And Washington and St. Louis are playing each other, so the 2 stock down teams, one of them will at least get a win. But back to Columbus. Columbus has won 4 in a row now. They fly under the radar. And I feel like they just don't get the national attention. They're a very good team. In fact, last year, they were 2 points away from edging out Montreal to get into a playoff spot. Obviously, the tragic passing of Johnny Gaudreau before last season was probably the most national attention that Columbus has gotten, but they got a lot of good players on this team. They're well coached and they play hard. They just don't have the high end skill. They have very good balance scoring throughout, but they're a good team, and it wouldn't shock me to see them have them end up in the playoffs. It wouldn't shock me one bit. They're on the rise. We'll see if they can keep it up. The Metro is very, very competitive. Every division right now is very competitive. I'm impressed with how close everything is right now. There's not really too many bottom feeding teams out there, but Columbus, we'll see if they can keep it up. Their stock rising in the East. And in the West, a lot of winning streaks snap. I'm going to kind of go off the board here. I'm going to go with the Anaheim Ducks. The Anaheim Ducks have had a resurgence, and I think Joe Quenneville, 3-time Stanley Cup champion, has a lot to do with that. He took over as the head coach, and you could automatically see this culture change. Leo Carlsson looks like a superstar in the making. He has 15 points in 10 games at a young age. He is, I believe, just 20 years old. So he's playing really, really well. They still have some injuries. Like Chris Kreider has gotten off to a great start. In 6 games, he has 5 goals. Another former Ranger, Jacob Trouba, he's a +9 in 10 games into the season. So he's really playing some solid hockey, adding some offense as well. They got other players like Troy Terry up and down that lineup. Anaheim had the talent. They're very good. They just really needed direction, and ownership went out, got Quenneville, And you know what? So far, it's paying off. They're 6-3-1, and they have a long playoff drought. We see if they can break it. But that's going to be interesting to see because again, the West is so competitive. A lot of good teams. Somebody's going to get left out. We'll see if Anaheim can do it. But that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and don't forget to follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Obviously, I'm here on YouTube at Lips94. I post daily. I post recaps of at least 2 games a night. I appreciate you guys, all the support. As I say, I am new to this. I'm trying to get better. And thank you guys. We'll see you next time.